Yeah, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey.
The Strive for Five values that the Bayfield School here has implemented and developed plays a very important role, not only in our school system here, but as well, it plays a major role in our Native community. Historically, for an example, among the Ojibwe people, we practice certain values that were very important, such as honoring yourself, respecting others, respecting the environment, respecting the earth, all living beings, the four-legged, the two-legged, the winged animals, the birds. All of those played a very important role for the Anishinaabe people in terms of respect.
I see PBIS from probably 10 years ago. There's really a huge change in our student population.
It was also very important in our Ojibwe tradition to practice values of humility, honesty, generosity, caring, kindness, love. It was very important in our Ojibwe tradition to honor our elderly, to respect them and honor them as a gift of wisdom, the ones that were knowledgeable in the community overall.
My most important was that value or reason I was here was to help the children grow with those values that would make them or enable them to be better persons when they leave us. I used to do Zen in class, and everybody wondered what Zen was about. Well, it was about quieting down and being into yourself and figuring out who you are, or just quiet time. And of course now I'm able to, like the 7th or 8th grade, I integrate flute music and a meditation with them just for a day off, because it's so stressful and it's high stress and the lights are on you all day and there's noises in the hall, and so they just love it. And it just, and I said, if you sleep in the Anishinaabe way, they say that you're still learning. It's, I suppose, a subliminal message or whatever, but you're still learning. And so my job here was, yes, with the academics, but it was, and the history and the language and the myths, but it was more of being a very responsible, kind person, sharing person. Everything that PBIS says, that's what I wish for our students more than anything else.
What's the most important value to you as a human being?
I don't know, what goes around comes around. Be respectful, because for our culture, elders, be respectful to them. That's how you learn things. You get to learn by being respectful, because no elder is going to teach you a story if you're being disrespectful. That's what I think.
So if you're thinking about the Ojibwe culture and the Strive for Five, kind of those two connected, what do you think is the most important value that you live every day?
Probably as Brandon said, would be respect.
Okay. What does that look like for you? What does that mean? How does that play out for you every day?
If I show respect, I'm hoping to get respect back, but if I don't get respect back, then I'm not going to give you my respect.
So you got to earn it to get it?
Yeah, it's sort of like a trading type of thing, I guess.
Okay. So, what does Strive for Five, if anything, have to do with the Native American culture?
I think all 5 of them individually connect to the culture, like responsibility. The men, when we were back then, hunted for the woman took care of the children. Responsibilities, how it is, it's how it was.
When you think about the Strive for Five, respect, responsibility, fairness, cooperation, and honesty, which one is the most important to you, and which one do you live every day, do you think?
I guess kindness, because, kindness and respect, I guess, because kindness can be passed on to other people, and if you're nice to everyone, they hopefully will be nice to you.
A big part of honesty is trust. If you lose somebody's trust, it's going to be much, much more difficult to gain that trust back. So you're a lot better off being truthful to the people around you, to your teachers, to your classmates, and to yourself, than losing that trust and having to earn that back.
In the classroom, for instance, responsibility, I've noticed since we've had PBIS that a little red ticket in the morning means so much more if you're on time than, than just saying, I wish you could come in. And so like in my study hall, we had students that were late in the beginning of the year, especially freshmen. And I couldn't believe today, I was so happy. Everybody was in the room on time just to get that little ticket. And they were telling me, Mr. Fo, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late. So they were being kind. And then also giving the PBS when I see someone that's so respectful all year. Certainly, I give them one of those slips. But more so, I talk with them, about why you're getting this.
Well, I believe very strongly that the values that the school in Bayfield has established also falls in line with our Ojibwe tradition for our community and for our children. And so this plays a very important role for us to utilize and look at our tradition and carry on our tradition here in the Bayfield School, as well as implementing and utilizing the values that we have established within our community historically and importantly with our children here in the Bayfield School. I use the word generosity as being very important. It's very important in our Native tradition to be able to give, to share, to be kind, to care for other people around us, to show respect for one another, and to listen to one another. It's always said in our Native tradition, listening is a very important attribute. Listening from the heart, listening from the soul, listening to what is being said and understanding and respecting one another.
Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, yeah, hey, oh. Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, yeah, hey, oh. Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, yeah, hey, oh. Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, yeah, hey, oh.